After years of waiting, the long-simmering animosity between Rasheeda Frost and Jasmine finally erupted in a spectacular battle on the highly anticipated Season 13 debut of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This episode was a turning moment in Rasheeda's life since she decided she could no longer handle things on her own. The relationship between Rasheeda and her husband, Kirk Frost, has been the subject of a lot of the show's drama, and Jasmine's presence served as the impetus for this, stoking an already blazing fire and handling Jasmine in a surprising manner. In the series, Jasmine's role in Rasheeda and Kirk's marriage has frequently been a source of conflict. Despite the harm she had previously caused to their marriage, she continued to push boundaries and was well known for her attempts to reconcile with Kirk. At the beginning of Season 13, Jasmine was back at it, despite the fact that her prior attempts to have sex with Kirk had already resulted in a great deal of strife. Jasmine was more than just a nuisance since she couldn't let go of Kirk. Despite Rasheeda's desire to stay out of trouble, she was unable to overlook Jasmine's constant rudeness. Rasheeda had endured numerous hardships and, for the most part, handled everything with grace. She had always made an effort to live up to the high road and to stay focused on her marriage, her enterprises, and her kids. Rasheeda's actions put everything she had worked so hard to build in danger. When Rasheeda's patience with this ongoing drama finally wore thin, she recognized she had to confront the issue head-on and wasn't going to watch while Jasmine attempted to destroy everything she had worked so hard to achieve. Rasheeda had always been a strong, independent woman, but the episode made it clear that she had reached her breaking point and wasn't going to give up anytime soon. Rasheeda didn't make the decision to approach Jasmine lightly for this reason. And then the silence ended when I walked up to Jasmine. Tension was evident as soon as Rasheeda and Jasmine faced each other, and their dispute was nothing short of explosive. This wasn't just a disagreement or small altercation. It was an emotional issue that had been developing for years. Rasheeda was resolved to take charge of Jasmine's story and put an end to the years of trouble she had been causing. Rasheeda had tried to keep her temper in check, but now she was expressing it all.
That you get canon this weekend every month. Do you do that?
No, and we didn't really agree to that because the last
It's signed on paper.
this is what I just say.
It's not gonna ever be exactly what you want to do. But I one get thing that that now. I'm gonna never have to question or worry about is Desiree getting the love and the same treatment as all the other kids when he's around. Always been concerned, and I've always loved him since the first day I heard from you. You don't have to hear from me because Cannon knows what's up. That's all that matters.
understand why it's a little weird now, but you know it's not weird. Now all of a sudden,
I always been there since I decided to forgive him. If I forgave him, I gotta take everything that comes with it, and that's Cannon. Y'all figure something out so we can get this boy.
She was fed up with Jasmine's rudeness, her attempts to sabotage her relationship with Kirk, and the way Jasmine had consistently ruined her marriage. Rasheeda didn't hold back when she chastised Jasmine for her constant attempts to destroy her family and made it clear that she would not put up with it any longer. Jasmine made a valiant attempt to justify her behavior, but Rasheeda would not listen. At that point, justifications were out of the question because her remarks were so clear-cut and powerful that there was no room for disagreement. Jasmine getting away with it was too much for Rasheeda to handle. As the argument rapidly heated up, both women were exchanging irate words and emotions were running high, but it soon became clear that this was about more than just their personal drama. Rasheeda had spent years trying to keep things under control and rise above the chaos, but this time she wasn't going to let anyone, not even Jasmine, to do so. This kind of manipulative behavior was no longer limited to Kirk. Rasheeda now desired to regain control over her life and demonstrate to Jasmine that she could no longer disturb her peace. Rasheeda became more resolute as the contentious dispute went on. In addition to safeguarding her marriage, she was also safeguarding herself. Jasmine wasn't going to take away the years of work she had put into her family, her job, and her personal progress. For the first time in a long time, Rasheeda was embracing her identity as a woman who wouldn't allow anyone to walk over her, and the conflict wasn't only about protecting Kirk or their marriage. Rasheeda spoke up for herself without hesitation. At the end of the confrontation, it was evident that Rasheeda had won. She had finally taken control of her story and demonstrated to Jasmine that, despite her best efforts, she could not destroy Rasheeda's family. Even though it might not have been the end of the turmoil between Rasheeda and Jasmine, this was unquestionably a turning point. Rasheeda had demonstrated that she would not allow anyone to break the peace she had taken, not even Jasmine. Rasheeda showed the world how strong, resilient, and unrepentant she is at that moment by recovering her honor and power. As the episode drew to a close, viewers pondered what would happen to Rasheeda, Kirk, and Jasmine. But one thing was clear: Rasheeda had demonstrated that she wouldn't let anyone, no matter how cunning or cruel, to take anything away from her. She took charge of her priorities, and the message was clear: if you mess with Rasheeda Frost, you better be ready for a fight.
You don't know because you don't. So the agreement was that you get cannons the third weekend of every month. Do you do that?
No, we didn't really agree to that because the last
It's signed on paper.
This is what I just said. It's not gonna ever be exactly the same. But
I
one
get
thing
that
we
now.
ain't gonna ever have to question or worry about is that boy getting the love and the same treatment as all the other kids when he's around. Always been concerned. And I've always loved him since the first day I heard from him.
You don't have to hear from me because Cannon knows what's up. That's all that matters. I understand why it's a little weird now, but you know it's not weird. So it's now all of a sudden.
I always been there since I decided to forgive him. If I forgave him, I gotta take everything that comes with it, and that's him. Y'all figure some out.
Becomes worse. Instead of just acknowledging that he made a mistake once more, Kirk has been attempting to play the victim. His affair with Jasmine was a means for him to escape the problems he was having with Rasheeda at home. He has been telling anybody who will listen that he has been unhappy in his marriage for a long time. A few days later, he left Rasheeda, and according to insiders, he even asked his legal team for advice on how to continue with the divorce. I believe that by choosing to stay instead of leaving, Rasheeda has allowed Kirk to be mistreated. Yet, in an interview with Essence, she made it plain to Kirk that she was not leaving and openly stated her determination to provide for her family. People that talk about that a lot couldn't be in my position, because many women haven't been in a relationship for 5 minutes, let alone 20. You can't talk about the choices I make because, at the end of the day, it's my life, and I never allow other people's opinions to influence me in any way. I'm not here to provide you advice, but I just prayed. If you don't like that, please don't follow or comment on my Instagram. One of the reasons our marriage has survived is because he has entirely changed his habits. It wasn't easy for me at that extremely dark time, and Kirk had to be admitted to the hospital before he realized how much he wanted Rasheeda back in his life. Jasmine, however, has been expressing to everyone her displeasure with Kirk's choice to have Rasheeda accompany him. Kirk's request to bring Rasheeda back breaks Jasmine's heart, but as they say, you lose them the way you get them. Remember, he is Kirk, and he knows how to manipulate both Rasheeda and Jasmine. Insiders claim that Kirk had already discussed marrying Jasmine following the completion of his divorce from Rasheeda. I'm hoping Kirk recovers quickly. Since it's obvious that things between Jasmine and Rasheeda are going to get much worse, we're hopeful Kirk would grant his request for Rasheeda to accompany him on his trip. Fans have stated that they don't understand why Jasmine keeps hiding her hands and throwing rocks after the doctor told him that he might not make it. When a married man produces a child, there are repercussions. Rasheeda is capable of far more, which is one effect of asking a married man to accept responsibility for something he was permitted to do. As Jasmine was aware, she will have to live without Kirk if he passes away. You don't need that disagreeable man to interrupt your fun after the girl kicked the dead weight out. Love yourself and let go of Kirk because you are too wonderful to be taken down. Please use the space provided below to express your remarks. Kirk is with Jasmine when he is intoxicated and Rasheeda when he is sober. Do you believe Rasheeda should forgive Kirk for everything he did to her and remain by his side? Or do you think she has no business being at the hospital with him since he chose to be with Jasmine instead of her?